Hello, welcome once again to our usual slot every Wednesday, 5 to 6 p.m. Program by Amaqhawe Ethu Foundation that seeks to recognize liberation heritage, those events, those organizations, and those individuals that fought for the liberation of this country. The struggle continues. Today, we are hosting Ambassador for Palestine in South Africa. She's going to be sharing with us everything that is happening in Palestine currently and Israel. Please do not go away, watch and listen to what she's going to be sharing. Why are we flighting this on our slot? Because Palestine's liberation is also equal to our own liberation. When we were in the trenches, Palestine used to be part and parcel of the same struggle for the people of South Africa. Currently, they are under oppression and colonization by Israelites in their own land of birth. But that's not for me to tell. We have Ambassador Hanan Jara, who's going to be talking to us today about this whole events. Please listen to her. Good evening, viewers of Mpumakapa TV, supporters of Amaqhawe Ethu. My name is Yongamela Manene. As usual, we are having this slot every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m., where we talk about liberation heritage. One of the most important alliances that we had when we were fighting for the liberation of South Africa was an alliance with Palestine Liberation Organization, was an alliance with the Yasser Arafat's organization. They were fighting for the freedom of Palestine. Nelson Mandela, in one of his famous speeches, has mentioned that if Palestine is not free, our own freedom will never be completed. Today, because of what is happening in Palestine and what has been declared by the Church of England in South Africa, Anglican Church, that Israel is an apartheid state. It's the day number 4 of what is happening to be called Israeli-Palestine war. We are hosting the ambassador for Palestine on our screens this evening. Please welcome her to your homes. She does not have enough time. She has to attend in many issues, but she's going to just give us a brief of what is happening in Palestine currently. Ambassador Hanan Jara, welcome to Amaqhawe Ethu program.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting me, and thank you for giving me the floor to talk about the Palestinian plight. Just one small note or correction, if you allow me. You said I'm going to shed light about what the Israeli-Palestinian war. Actually, we cannot say it's a war because it's like between two different entities, between people under occupation, who are the Palestinians, and between an occupying power, which is Israel. So it's the dynamics are different. It's between Palestinians who defend themselves against aggression, oppression, against occupation, against an apartheid regime, exactly or even worse than the South African apartheid regime. So the dynamics here is different, and this is what is happening right now. It's the people in Palestine are the victims. They are the people that occupy, the people under occupation, fighting for their own freedom, for their own liberation, for the right to self-determination, to establish their own independent state. Since Saturday, I'm sure that everyone has been following the news, and I feel sad and I feel sorry that Palestinians are the focus of the media now, not because of the atrocities of the Israeli occupation, not because my people are killed since 50 years, but because of what's happening for the Israelis. Because Hamas freedom fighters, they wanted to revenge for the Palestinian people to defend themselves against the atrocities of the Israeli occupation that has been practicing all kinds of atrocities against the people in Gaza. You might be aware or not, I have to explain that Gaza is the well known around the world as the biggest open air prison with 2 kilometers that accommodates 2 million Palestinian people, has been under the blockade of the Israeli occupation for more than 15 years. During these 15 years, Gaza was subjected to 4 consecutive wars, and this time it is the fifth war that has been launched against the Gazans and against Gaza. So the human reality in that area is very difficult. You can imagine people are suffocating into small panto stand. They are not allowed to go in or out. No proper access to health facilities, to medication, to education, even to their own Mediterranean Sea. They don't have the right to use it or to make use of the natural resources of it because of the Israeli occupation. So what's going on right now is that since Saturday till now, Israel has launched a war against the Palestinian people using international prohibited weapons to fight against civilians. Against civilians, again, the Palestinian people in Gaza are civilians, and the Israeli army, yes, that they announced by on the tongue of the Minister of Defense. He put like a genocidal statement. He said that we will cut food, we will cut electricity, we will cut water from the Gazan people. All this comes in a context of day and night bombing for Palestinian people living in Gaza. The airstrikes has been blindly shelling and bombing residential places, schools, hospitals, ambulances, colleges and universities, even worship places, mosques and churches. Since Saturday till now, more than 800 Palestinians have been killed, more than 4,000 have been injured. 15% of those losses are from men, women, and children. More than 8 Palestinian families completely were wiped from the civil registry because they were targeting families, they were targeting homes. More than 130,000 Palestinians were displaced from their homes because their homes were destroyed because of the bombing, and they were sheltered in UNRWA schools. Today, UNRWA announced that its capacity is full and they cannot provide shelter for more people, and Israel is continue bombing and shelling Palestinians' homes and places. What Hamas freedom fighters did is that they target Israeli soldiers, they target Israeli settlers in Israeli settlements. Why it is this right is guaranteed according to international law? Because according to international law, any people under occupation, they have the right to use any means available for them to liberate themselves from the occupation. And this is what the Palestinians are doing. Unfortunately, when Ukraine defending themselves, They are freedom fighters and they have the right to do so. When Palestinians do, they are terrorists, and the international community, the Western media, the Western world, including US, they are standing in solidarity with Israel under the pretext of defending themselves, giving them the right to commit war crimes against Palestinians. Unfortunately, this is the situation right now.
On the 27th of September 2023, the Provincial Standing Committee of the Anglican Church of Southern Africa adopted a resolution declaring Israel an apartheid state. The Provincial Standing Committee includes the Archbishop of Cape Town, the bishops of the province, and one clerical and one lay representative of each diocese. The preamble to the resolution notes that a variety of organizations, including South African Council of Churches, Amnesty International, and Human Rights Watch, already have made similar declarations about the state of Israel. The declaration reads as follows: as people of faith who are distressed by the pain of occupation of the West Bank and Gaza, and who long for security and just peace for both Palestine and Israel, we can no longer ignore the realities on the ground. We are opposed not to the Jewish people, but to the policies of Israeli governments, which are becoming ever more extreme. For Christians, the Holy Land is the place where Jesus was born, nurtured, raised, and crucified. Our hearts ache for our Christian brothers and sisters in Palestine whose numbers include Anglicans, but are rapidly declining. People of all faiths in South Africa have both deep understanding of what it is to live under oppression, as well as experience how to confront and overcome unjust rule by peaceful means. When Black South Africans who have lived under apartheid visit Israel, the parallels to apartheid are impossible to ignore. If we stand by and keep quiet, we will be complicit in the continuing oppression of the Palestinians. If we are to celebrate peace for Palestinians and security for Israelis in our time, we need to pray and work for the land we call holy, for an end to occupation of Gaza and the West Bank, for full recognition of the Palestinians' inalienable right to self-determination. We yearn for peace and wholeness of God to be made manifest in Palestine, in Israel, and among their neighboring countries. I pray the prayer we adopted at the last meeting of the Provincial Synod, the ruling body of Anglican Church in Southern Africa. The prayer goes as follows. Lord God, bless the people of Middle East, protect their vulnerable children, transform their divided leaders, and heal their wounded communities, restore their human dignity, and give them an everlasting peace. Amen. This was the declaration by the Anglican Church of Southern Africa, which we felt that we need to read so that we show that people in South Africa and the Southern Africa community do pay solidarity with the people of Palestine and do wish an end to this occupation. Thank you very much. And that it's such a very, very sad situation whereby another person attacks another in their own land, in their where they were born, where they are supposed to settle and enjoy livelihood. You have given us quite a lot, Ambassador. And what would you say to the people of Gqeberha, the people of Amaqhawe Ethu, we should do to voice? We know that everything can be done, but from your side, what would you recommend? As we don't have
I would
time.
say that, I would say that the victims are always the civilians, and losing lives is always a tragic incident. We always have been warned, the international community, about the Israeli atrocities. And for more than 50 years, Israel has been occupying Palestine, suffocating Palestinians into small bantustans, denying their access to normal life, denying their access to schools, to education, to health facilities, to dignity. This is what Israel has been doing for the last 50 years since occupying Palestine in 1967. So we say that the equation is easy: live and let others live. We as Palestinians, we don't want to see people dying. We don't want to kill others. We don't want to defend ourselves always against the atrocities of occupation. What we need is to live in peace, in dignity, in our own homeland. What Israel has been doing is that targeting the Palestinians on daily basis. You know, not in Gaza only, in West Bank, of course, because we have different dynamics. In West Bank, since the beginning of this year, more than 300 Palestinians have been killed. And we have been shouting to the international community to listen to our story, to listen to our narrative, to stop Israel from practicing a genocide, ethnic cleansing against our people. But nobody listens. Only they listen, only they stand up in solidarity with Israel, only when it affects the Israeli people, as if Palestinians are not human beings. And yesterday, their Minister of Defense, they said that we are facing human animals. Can you believe that one in the position of a minister talks about other nation like this? It's a very arrogant attitude toward another nation. So if you deal with people like this, you should expect a result like what happened. What we need from the international community is to shoulder their responsibility by providing protection, international protection for the Palestinian people, not the opposite, to stand by the aggressor, by the occupation regime, and send them more weapons, like what the US said and what the Western community said. We ask the international media and the international community to stop being biased and to show the narrative as is, without waffles, without cream, not to show the one side of the narrative that supports the occupier or the apartheid regime. What we want from the international community is to hold the Israeli war criminals who commit war crimes against Palestinians accountable for their own deeds. This is what is needed from the international community, as what is needed from people. We know that people all over the world, they stand in solidarity and support, regardless of their governments, with the Palestinian people, because they know that the Palestinian cause is a just cause, and they know that the Palestinian people are the indigenous people of the land. Now, when the events took place, we realized the myth of the state of Israel. They were selling the world the narrative or the myth that they have the strongest army in the world. If you have the strongest army in the world, why do you request Europe to send you more soldiers? This morning, more than 1,000 soldiers have been sent from Europe to Israel. This is one. And second, they are now, the myth is collapsing because they were also selling many other countries, especially in Africa. I would like to say that they are the best in security establishment, that they are the best in civilians equipments, and people believe them. Then how did you manage to fail in front of a bunch of freedom fighters? This is what hurts Israel, and what hurts the Western community is that the myth of Israel as the strongest country in the Middle East and the strongest army, this is what hurt them the most, that the Western project and the myth that they have created in the Middle East is falling now. So what is needed is to end the Israeli occupation for Palestine, to put an end for the apartheid regime. And then we can talk, we can sit on the table, and we can talk, and we can negotiate, and we can live in peace. Because as Palestinians, we are peaceful people by nature. When the Israelis were kicked out from Europe in 1948, we received them exactly like the South Africans received the white people when they came here. We received them with open hearts and hands because we consider them refugees. And on the other hand, what they have done, they overcome the land, occupy the land, and take us as hostages for more than 70 years now.
Live and let others live. That's what Ambassador is saying, viewers. She is saying that that's what they want. They are a peaceful nation. They're not interested in any war. If someone comes and kills 800 people in a short space of time, injuring 50% of those that are killed and injured are women and kids, what do you expect? Palestine is saying that the world must shout, end Israel occupation now. Not tomorrow, not any other day, but now, because it has been happening for the last 70 years. You can see the ambassador talking. She is feeling the pain of her people. And the myth that is shared that they are the strongest army, they are unable to handle Hamas at the expense of killing other people. Ambassador, we thank you for your time. And we are hosting Ambassador Hanan Jara. She is a Palestinian through and through with us here in South Africa. She's making an appeal to all of us. What else can you share with the people, Ambassador, so that you said you are stretched for time? Please give as much as you can.
I would say that Palestine and South Africa shared a long chapter of history of friendship and of fighting against aggression and oppression. Our relationship with South Africa is not new. It didn't start in 1994 after the democratic transformation. It started long time ago when the ANC was considered a terrorist organization, the Palestine Liberation Organization. We were here in Africa. We supported them because we are principled revolution, exactly like the ANC. We stand up for our principles, and we look forward that the South African people and the African continent in general would stand in support for Palestine, because we have always to remember that in the 60s and 70s, when Africa was colonized by the Western community, it was the international solidarity and the international support that brought the African countries freedom and liberation, in addition to their own freedom fighters. That's why we do believe that our relationship with the African continent and with South Africa in particular is a principled relationship that will always depend on the unwavering support and solidarity between us and you, as we share a long chapter of shared history, fighting apartheid and fighting aggression. I would love in this regard to thank the South African people, government, all political parties who have been issued statements and stand in solidarity with Palestine, all solidarity movement organizations, and the South African people for their support and for their solidarity. We will always work together until we achieve our aspiration in self-determination and in freedom. Thank you, comrades, for receiving me. And I salute your audience. I know that it's like one of the traditional audience. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Before I let you go, can you shout, "Free, free Palestine"?
Free, free Palestine.
Free,
A luta continua.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Thanks for availing yourself. It means a lot to us, and we're gonna be talking frequently as to getting an understanding on what is happening. We are a liberation heritage organization. We also will respect our allies before liberation, because it's through your encouragement, it's through your efforts that we manage to be where we are. The struggle continues, as you have said, because there are many issues that needs to be addressed in order to change this world and make it a better place for all. Amandla.
Awethu.
Enkosi, enkosi
Thank
kakhulu.
you.
Senzeni na, 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 senzeni, senzeni na, senzeni na, senzeni na, senzeni na, senzeni, senzeni na, senzeni na, senzeni. Senzenina, Senzenina,
Thank you for watching once again our program, as we always bring these stories of liberation heritage. The Palestinian cause is as equal as to our pre-1994 cause. The people of Palestine are being brutally, being ill-treated. The fighting is going on both sides. This is a war that has been carrying on for such a long time. You hear it for yourself what the ambassadors say. Let us live and let others live. Let us not allow this to continue to happen in our lifetime. Let us support the freedom and self-determination of the Palestinians as declared by the UN and supported by many other organizations across the globe. Support all these marches and peaceful demonstrations in celebration of Free Palestine Free. Free Palestine Free. Our freedom will never be the same until the people of Palestine are free. I quote Nelson Mandela, our former president. May his soul rest in peace. Thank you for watching. Amaqhawe Ethu. Igama lami nginguYongamela Manene on behalf of Amaqhawe Ethu Foundation. Thank you for watching, and thanks to the people of Mpumakapa TV for always hosting us and taking this program out. We do listen to your proposals as well as your suggestions as you come along. Thank you very much, and good night.